Um,
Yep.
Defaults to no project. Yeah.
You want to share?
Yes. Hey, cool. So we're live. I mean, I guess you could share as well, but I guess I was just gonna. So this is the test that you wrote, correct? This one
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
starting here. And then you added this step definition here.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It has a binding.price still.
No, I put that.
Oh, okay.
No, if it has a binding.pry, it gets stuck in the it doesn't even run the. So like I was asking you earlier in the scrum if you saw the failure and you were saying, yeah, that's what you were expecting. So that's good. Like this failure here, I wouldn't worry about. This one's like an intermittent failing test. But like so it looks like it's past the build except for the test that you wrote. And like the error message that it's giving here. Oh, really? Where is it? Where's the second time it failed? Here. No, that's the first time. Yeah, here. It's like expecting the value not to equal 3, and it got 3.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense because what you wrote here is that like you want to grab the project ID for this event,
Yes.
and you've created this event without passing in a project, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah. So the name is whatever. The event, the description is something else. Start date and start time, and so that yeah. So I'll just show you what
Hello.
I'm doing. Can you hear me?
Yes. 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 Now.
So I just checked like the current path, and you are on the event. You're on the show page for the event, so that worked. And then I asked what the event project ID is because I put the binding.pry after the this call, and it came back as 3, right? So that
Okay.
means that even though you didn't pass in a
Hello.
project, it defaults to a specific project, like it defaults to whatever, like the first project alphabetically or whatever.
Yes.
And so that's what you're trying to create it to where you're trying to get the implementation to get this test to pass, right?
Yes.
Right. So have you looked at like the event controller?
Event controller. So that means after this has after the test has failed, and now we want to resolve the issue.
Yeah, that we want to get the test passing, right?
Oh, okay. I haven't done that yet.
No, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess we could be talking about whether the test, like if the test you wrote is is a good test. Like, I think that I mean, I don't know. We can definitely wait for Sam's opinion. But I think that maybe you could instead of doing like this kind of more expensive where you're plucking all the IDs of all the projects, and then
Yeah.
you're iterating through all of them and you're checking to make sure that it does not equal like in general like doing negative assertions it's you want to avoid if you can. Like I think you could say like expect the project event project ID. Oh, oops, sorry. Project ID to be nil or something.
Okay.
To be nil.
Okay.
Because the idea is that if they create it without I mean, if we come here to like, I don't know. I mean, maybe we don't have any here. Maybe these are all associated with projects, but no, event dot where project ID is nil. And so there's lots of them. For some reason I can't count these because they're, oh, I can't count. So in this case, you have 3 projects where the project ID is nil. So like evening event, morning event, and whatever else. So like if I look in the seeds file, like at the events, event.create, and in here, like, so Daniel, when he made the, you know, overhauled this for us, you can see that he's doing like, he's putting in, passing in the name, the category, the description, all this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he's doing the kind of the exact same thing as you, where he's not saying which project this event belongs to. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 of these events, right? So, and the way that's displayed in the database is that it's the project ID is nil, right? The same way that like this URL is nil because none was passed in. This here, this 4, it wasn't passed in, so it's nil. Exclusions, all these kind of things. Like if you don't pass it in, and it doesn't like, it still passes the validations, which we don't have validations. Like let's say you have to have a project, then it will be displayed in the database as nil. So I think like instead of doing all of this, you could just do this, you know?
Okay.
That might be incorrect. Expect to be nil. Or is it to equal nil? I mean, you know, like equal to be, to start, to be nil. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Like this. Something like that.
Which branch are you on?
I'm on yours.
I pushed. Okay, I pushed 2 branches, so maybe.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the one that you made a PR for.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make this change as well, like that's
go for it. I'm not going to. I just wanted to make it now. Yeah.
I was just going to say I'm not going to push this up, you know.
Oh, okay.
But also as well, like I think that I mean, maybe some advice that that I would give as well is that instead of doing this whole thing here, maybe you can do like Sam's trying to. I think I get what you did here is that you're like you're copying and pasting, like, you know, because it's easier to do that, especially when you're new to doing things. I think like the way we want to try to move to is that like you have something like this, like that Sam, I know he's brought it up a couple of times in the Scrum, but it's difficult when you're working on it at a different time than you're actually doing. But it's like, given a project has been created, no, or given an event has been created without project, and the event is not associated with any project. And then if I come here and like I have this and I run, is that still starting on 150? Yeah. And I run this test. You forgot a T on the end of this as well. I did that. I remember I misspelled the branch. And yeah, so then that's going to come up with, you know, you have two things that don't exist, you know, so then you can kind of copy and I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should go to you. Are you in a position where you're ready to drive?
Yes.
Because that would be better, right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. We're short on time, like, so I don't. But I think it's better if you actually drive this, because like the thing is that I can show you, and then you can kind of get home and kind of forget what I was saying. So I'm still gonna like go ahead and navigate to where your tests are and stuff, and I'll just keep doing this like for a second.
So saving scrums, defaulting to wrong project. Yes. So edit event feature. So this is the file that you're on?
It looks like it. I can't see the name of it, but
Edit event feature?
it was the one that was failing, the create events dot feature.
Create events dot feature.
Are you on the same branch as me? 2854 create events should not default to project.
Okay, I think that's a different branch.
All right. Yeah, you might have more than one PR in at the same time. So
yeah,
I just saw that this one was failing, and so I thought I'd try to find out why. Although I guess like, yeah, I mean I totally get like you're doing some stuff and then you're putting in like a PR and you want to get some feedback on it, and like while you're getting feedback on it, you want to keep working, so that's always a good thing, but like also as well, we're gonna try to make sure we finish up the ones that we started working on, so it's kind of a balance, isn't it?
Yep. You call it oh no, which one is this? So features, command P. So maybe you're suggesting that this so and that an event. Maybe we can just give it a name so that we can search for it.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last question. So the thing is that Mike, like, so you like the idea of doing it more, the idea of doing it with this style that Sam's talking about, is, when you're writing this in the future, like you need to ask yourself the questions like, is it for the person reading this file, is it important, like for this feature that you're writing, that create a new event with no project selected defaults to a no, is it important for the person to know what the event is called?
Yes. So maybe we can have it as
no, hold on. Like, why is it important for them to know what the event is called?
Just for easier use, or easy understanding.
Is it easier to understand that way? Like the way you had it was an event called whatever, but even if you have it like an event called event with no project, for example, is that easier to understand? Like you have here, given that an event is created without a project. Do you understand what that's doing?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to provide any in this part of I'm not talking about in the steps as well. The steps is different. The steps is like something that you expect like developers to be looking at and trying to understand what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
In this part, you're not expecting developers are going to be they're going to be reading it, but the idea is that this part of the file is what you might show a client, for example. And you say, listen, so what we have here is a scenario where an event is created without a project. And then it defaults to no project, you know? So you have those like high level, like what exactly it is that you want it to do. And then in the steps, that's when you start like, you break down all the things where you have like the name of the project, when it was created, you know, what page you're on, all those other things you can put inside the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but then I'm thinking, when I create something here without maybe giving it a name, how will I identify it when I want to know that it's not associated to any project? Like if, for instance, I don't know, am I mute?
No, I understand your question.
Yeah, for instance, if I see given that an event is created without a project, then here I want to say the event is not associated with any project. Which event am I talking about here?
Well, it depends. You need to look at what's going on in the steps, don't you?
Okay.
Like look at if you go to the step that you wrote on line 475 of the event steps.
Command P. I'm trying to get better at searching for files this way. Think so.
I mean, in this case, what I do is I'll go to the like I'll run the test, you know, and then like I'll see what it's failing and stuff like that. And then on the right of where the actual line of the test is, it'll actually give you the exact line number and all that kind of stuff. And you can just copy and paste it into that Control P, you know. But like, let's have a look at this, right? So you have here, like you have then the event named blah 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 is not associated with any project, and then you have a variable, right? So what you're doing there, do you understand what's happening? No, on line 471.
Yeah.
So do you understand what's happening there? Like, could you explain to me what's happening there?
On 471.
Yeah.
The matcher comes here, the regex matcher, then it finds this matches whatever we had there and takes this as a variable. Yeah.
Exactly. And then where are you using that?
Why am I using?
No, where are you using that?
Here on the search.
Yep. So there on line 473, you have to use a variable event underscore name.
How else would I get the project?
So can you go quickly back to the test that you wrote in the feature?
Sorry. In the feature file.
Yeah. So
okay. Command P.
So what's the name of the feature, the name of the event that you want to search for?
Like currently, there's no event. Like
I know.
we are masking it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the one that you actually want to look for?
The one that has just been created now, and it doesn't have a project associated with it.
Yeah. So what's that event called?
We haven't written.
I'm not talking about in the new test. I'm talking about in the old test.
Yeah, in the old test, it was called whatever.
Okay. So where is that? Okay. You don't have to go all the way back. Can you see that on line 160 you have the name of the project on line 160?
Yeah.
So can you copy and paste including the quotation marks?
Copy and paste where?
Yeah. Copy that and paste it into the other file on line 473 or 470. Yeah, 473, I think it is.
In the event steps.
Yes. So you see where you're looking for there you go. Yep. Paste it. Now you have two. Yeah. Just need one.
Yeah.
So does that syntax look okay to you?
Yeah, it's fine.
So why do you need to tell the person in the feature file what the name of the project you're looking for is?
I don't know.
You don't need to. That's the answer.
Yeah.
You don't. No. You can and probably should hide that information if it's not relevant. In this case, like we know it's not relevant because you named the project whatever. So if you have and you named it whatever to signify that it's not important. The name is not important at all. So what you can you know how to create an event with a name that's a string, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whatever you create the project, you create the project with the name whatever, and then when you search for the project, you search for the project with a name equal to whatever you created it, right?
Yeah. So that means.
Hey, Joseph. Joseph.
Hey,
Joseph.
what's
Hello.
going on? Yeah. What's going on?
We're writing code, man.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Am I loud and clear?
You are. You are loud and clear.
Okay.
We can hear you and everything that you say.
Okay. So does it help for so? Okay. I'll ask after.
Well, I think Mike is just rewriting some tests. So if I don't know if it bothers him if you talk while he's doing that, but I think we're at a place where you can ask questions if you want.
Nah.
No.
Yeah.
I want to ask questions.
Matt, I think the only problem with this will be maybe when you want to reuse the steps. I don't know. But
well, I mean, the thing is that so the is what you're telling me is that you created all of those steps yourself or you reused those?
These ones now, I'm going to. I'm
No,
going
I
to
know.
create new ones.
Yep. Yep. I understand what you asked. My question was the steps that you had before. Given I fill in the event field and I click the save button and I should see, then I should be on. Those you created those yourselves or you reused those?
I reused them.
Okay. And you're not planning on deleting those, are you, in the step definitions?
I've just deleted it.
No, in the step definitions, not the feature file, in the step definitions.
No.
So if a person wants to use those steps later, they can still use those steps. They're not steps that you created, right? But now you have a situation where if a person doesn't want to use those steps for whatever reason, they can maybe use your steps, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to think of other tests that you could write where I just care about having an event that is created that has no project associated with it. And I want to write a test that when that happens, a person gets an email, or when that happens, like it flashes in big pink letters, like please add a project, or whatever you want, whatever, you know. Like there could be other reasons why someone would want to use your steps as well. But the point is it's like using the right tool for the right job. So the thing is like the way it was before is like doing this really long thing that's like acting like the user and going in and filling in details and creating an event and all this kind of stuff, when actually you don't care about that. You just care that there is a project that has no, that you have an event that has no project, and the event is created without being associated with a project, right?
Yeah. Very true, Matthew.
I mean, I can't take all the credit for it. That's, you know, I mean, if you go through and look at this stuff that I've written, I need to refactor some of my tests, you know. Like I have some tests that are, it's so much easier to create tests, I think, in this way because you already kind of you can just copy and paste other people's work, right? And then it's like, you know, there's that whole idea of reusing and stuff like this that's really nice. But I think in this case, particularly since Sam has been talking about it recently about creating making more of this style of test, it would be good if we tried to implement that, you know.
The test run first on your. Oh, why am I running this test? Did I not save?
I'm not sure.
Did.
I'm not sure how did that test even get past the first, like the creation of the event? Because we have all these validations of stuff that you have to have that you didn't have. You just had like, I mean, I'd have to have a closer look at why that test was even getting to that point in the first place. Given I fill in the event field with, where's that definition?
I ran create events line 150.
Mm-hmm.
What I ran, and that is what is here.
Yeah, I'm talking. Sorry, when I was talking about the way that the old test was. It was running the given I fill in the event field, and it was like passing that, it was creating the event, but I don't think it should be. It should have been creating the event.
Okay.
Because like we have validations for. We have validations for what you need to. You do have to have like certain things to create an event, right? And that stuff, that just having a name and description and start date and start time is not enough to be able to create the event, you know? So It's kind of weird why it was passing. Not I mean, like passing meaning getting past that.
Okay. So given an event is created without event. Okay, let me just do binding.par.
So
How come my tests are so slow?
don't know. You're not using Docker, are you?
No.
So, can you tell me what you're trying to do?
Yeah, so I want to create an and give it a name. I don't know if that alone will work. If I just do event create name of the event.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You know. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find out what's the minimum amount of information that you need to create an event. Is that correct?
Yep. And that created an event. So if I do event.
Did that create an event?
Yeah. But it did not give the ID. No, it did not.
So that means it didn't create, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is a little trick. If you look, have you looked at your the seeds file yet? Because like,
yeah,
because we know that we don't know, but we assume that there are events. We assume there are events created there that are actually being created, right?
Yeah.
If you, do you know how to? Yeah, there you go. Do you see how they have a bang at the end of it?
Yep.
So if you do the same thing,
I think I did that.
Yeah, if you do the same thing you just did, but with a bang on it.
Yeah. Validation fail. Terminal can be blank. Yeah. I think I just want to copy one of these.
Mm-hmm.
What's this guy? I've seen him a lot, but
well, I mean, I think like that's one way you could do it, right? Is you could just copy and paste something there because you know it's going to create an event. But then you need to start asking yourself the question, like, do I really care about all this information in the test? Because otherwise you're just going to add lines of code to the test that you potentially don't need.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
but they just called, they just said time zone start.
what I was suggesting is that did you do it? Yeah, there you go. See, so if you do it with a bang, it'll tell you validation failed because of these. You need a time zone, you need a repeats, you need category, and you need a start time, and you need a duration. So you need those 5 things other than having a name. So you need 6 things to create an event. Whereas if you look back at the other if you look at the seeds file, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things. Right? So you're going to have almost double the amount of lines of code for no real reason.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. So and then Amazon. Bits.
So I wonder.
Duration.
I mean, in the background, I've gotten the test to pass, but we're expecting that this test will fail, and we need to do something to implement it to pass it, to get it to pass. Correct?
Yeah.
So I think that the thing is that what's happening is the reason it's failing. Maybe, I mean, I'm not sure. It's really interesting why this is failing, because I think, like, when you go through the user interface and you create a project, it's different than when you create a project with the command line or with a test, isn't it?
So
So
I think
maybe the way I'm guiding you is to write a test that already exists, even. And
okay.
actually, we need to be writing a test that, like, I'm not sure, like, how did we get to writing this test about that event is created with, like, what exactly is it that you're trying to accomplish? Because I think that we have the functionality for sure, and we might already have the tests that are testing for this, that you can create a project with no, or you can create an event with no project ID and it creates successfully. I think we have that test. I can try to find it. So what is it that you're trying to actually test for?
Okay, I think this came up when I was trying to solve the issue with the events defaulting to a wrong project during update.
Yes.
So yeah, when I was checking out that, I figured it could be defaulting to wrong projects during update because it defaults to wrong projects during creation.
I think that we want to have it seems like what Sam was saying is that we want to have the functionality where the project defaults to CS169. If a person creates a project from the user interface by accident, that it defaults to CS169, right?
Yes.
That's why if you go to the same form is used when you go to the the new form or when you go to the edit or the edit, edit form. So, and you've done that before, right? I've done that before. We've all done it where we forget to add the project and then all of a sudden we share the link and it goes to the CS169 channel or the ESAS channel. And we've done that because a lot of people who are creating events are creating them for the first time through the course, and they don't realize what they're doing, and then they just create it and all that kind of stuff, right? So then we have another thing where we have projects that were created, we have events that were created either maybe through the command line or they were created before we had a default project, whatever the case is, that we want to be able to update so that they don't automatically default to CS169.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Like I think I think what's happening at first from the user interface, when you create a project and it defaults to CS169 only when CS169 is one of the projects that are present. But if your list of projects does not have CS169, it will default to first project.
Okay, but so the thing is that you're talking about when CS169 project is not present, you're talking about like in the development, in a development environment, for example.
Yes, I think.
Like in production, where people are actually creating events, there is no cases, no edge cases, no real life cases whatsoever for when CS169 is not available. That's always the case.
Yes, that's always the case.
Okay. So I think that it's not important if in the development environment, it defaults to AAA or it defaults to whatever it defaults to. That doesn't matter because we don't care about, we don't care about what happens in the development environment, but like it's always going to default to CS169 in production.
Yeah, but then, like the issue is when projects are being updated, because guys will want to create projects without linking them to any project. Yeah, you want to create an event without linking it to any project.
Yeah, well, right now there's no functionality that you can do that. We might want that functionality, but there is no functionality that you can do that. You as a user of the site, you can't create a project. You can't create an event without a project because it defaults to CS169.
Yes.
And there is no one way you could do that. Like if you look at my screen, like one way. So this is the current situation. I've come to the new thing and I'm creating a project and CS169 is the default, right? So, and if you look here, you cannot create a project without choosing, you cannot create an event without choosing a project.
Yes.
You can you can choose a different project besides CS169, but there's no current functionality where you can create a project, an event with no project, right?
Yes.
I don't know if we want to have that functionality. Maybe we do. And maybe the reason we want to have that functionality is because we have a situation where there are events in the database who were created before this functionality of defaulting to CS169 existed, right? So one thing that we could maybe do is we could add a blank field to this, right? So that if a person wants to create a project, an event with no project, they can. Like it can still default to CS169, but if the person clicks on this, they can go to the top and find a blank one, or or something that says no project, or I don't know, and that if there's no project, that it defaults to that instead of CS169.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but then there's this ticket that I was working on that once that's about updating a project.
Yes.
And that that ticket was such that when projects are being updated, they are defaulting to wrong projects. I don't know if.
Yeah. I think I mean, I'd have to have we can have a closer look right now, but I think that they're defaulting to only one project, and that project is CS169.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, not in the development environment, because the development environment is different. You might not have CS169 as a project, and so that functionality of defaulting to CS169 wouldn't exist. But they, I mean, I've got to go because I got another meeting. But like, you know, I guess that's the ticket we should be working on, because this ticket that you put in a PR for, it seems like that already actually we already have tests for that, and we don't need to write tests to say that. Like, unless it's something different that you're saying, maybe what you're saying is that I want people to be able to create an event with no project. But if that's the case, then you know, before working on it, you should definitely see if the project manager actually wants that functionality. Because maybe Sam says, no, I don't want people to create projects with no events with no projects. I specifically want to only have events with some project associated with them. Like the fact that we had those in the past is irrelevant. We don't want those anymore. And then you're going to work on this, you know, and put in a PR and do all this. You know, you're going to be learning while you're doing it, but it's something that the project manager or owner may or may not even want, you know.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Cool. Sorry to rush out of here, but I'm already late to my other meeting. And yeah, I mean, I have a solution that I can share with you, so you can see how I did it, of how to get that test to pass. But again, I think we probably already have it passing somewhere else, you know.
Okay.
What you're trying to do. But I mean, yeah, again, maybe you're trying to do something different, and I've just taken you, you know, you might be trying to specifically create a project through the user interface that you can specify no project. But if that's the case, then I think you need to go about it a little bit differently. You need to actually say project, you know, like you need to come here to the actual the new form, and you need to actually fill in the new form or select from the new form a blank, like a thing that says no project, or a thing that's blank, so that it defaults to no project, you know, and then check that's possible, because right now that's not possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think it makes sense. Yeah.
Thanks, man.